step 2 is to predict how many items, make this just a little bit bigger. Predict how many items of each color are in your bag. So I still have not peeked into my bag. I have no idea what's in there, but I know that it's going to be some of these colors, and I also know there's only 12 items in my bag. So for example, I'm going to make up some data. All right, here is my fake data for what was in my bag, and what I'm seeing is that I have a lot of purple, I have less of blue, yellow, and green, and then even fewer of pink. I see that I did not draw any oranges, so I probably don't have any oranges. I want to add up how many experiments I did. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So I did 60 experiments, and what I'm looking for then is the proportion for each color. So you can calculate what's the proportion of pink that were drawn, proportion of purple, proportion of blue, etc. And then use that, because we know we have 12 blocks, and find that percent or that proportion of 12 and see what number that comes to. I'll do one for you. So if I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28 purples, that would be 28 out of 60. That gives me a proportion of 0.46666 repeating. I'll call it 0.467. And then what I'm going to do is say, well, out of 12 blocks, I want the proportion of purple to be 0.467. So 0.467 of 12, remember that of tells you to multiply. And I have it already, 0.467 sitting on my calculator. I can leave it with all the decimals, that's fine. I'm getting estimates from here anyway. So times 12 equals, and I get 5.6. So that's probably going to round to 6. So about 6 purple blocks. So there I've done an analysis to find out how many purple blocks I think are in my bag. Well, if I say there's 6 and I know I only had 5 to start with, I made up data, remember. If I say that, then I probably would need to round that down to 5, because I know there are only a possible total of 5 blocks, so I would have to change that. The other thing I would need to think about is when I come up with an estimate for each color, and say I did have 6 purples in there, then all of those estimates, and I'm going to say I have 0 orange because there were none in my experiments. So I would put in my estimates for these other colors. They should total 12, right? Because 12 is all I have in my bag for sure. So if you have to round, you might have to move some numbers around. Like if these both come to the same, but you're over 12, you might need to round this one down 1 because it has 1 fewer, and just guess that that has 1 fewer. So you might have to make some adjustments like that so that all your numbers, your predictions, add up to 12. But then that's what you should be doing, is coming up with some predictions for part 2. And the bag has 12 items, so your predictions should sum to 12 items. And use proportions and probability, and I just showed you how you could do that with purple, and you would want to do that for each of your colors. And then you are not expected to be 100% correct. So I am way more interested in seeing your work, the 28 out of 60 here, and coming to the 0.467, and then using that out of 12, because we know we have 12 blocks, multiplying them, coming up with a number, and deciding on 6, and then seeing whatever else you did to adjust your figures so that they total 12. I'm way more interested in seeing that. In fact, on my rubric, there is no point penalty for not being correct, not matching what's actually in your bag. So as long as you used reasoning proportions, probability to help you make your predictions, you'll get 100% on this part, even if it doesn't match your actual bag contents. Okay, just want to make that clear.